Now, I just want to talk a little bit about sanctification for the person who is celibate, the person who is single. There's the Protestant notion, again, that I'd like to challenge that says sanctification is only available for those who are married. And if you remain single, if you live the celibate life, this sanctification is being missed out on. And I will acknowledge that, sure, there's something specifically in marriage that is not the same. Is not the same for those who are not married in terms of the specifics. But there is one spirit of sanctification, and there's a common goal of sanctification too, pertaining to sexuality, that can be summed up by purity. And so the married will strive for purity, the unmarried will strive for purity, and both are striving in the way of sanctification. And it's the same spirit, and it's the same purity. The specifics might be different. So, from the point of view of a single person, a celibate person, just like it's not enough in marriage to say, well, I'm just not sleeping with another person other than my spouse. It's not enough for the celibate person to say, well, I'm not going and hooking up with multiple partners. I'm not sowing my wild oats. I'm not engaging in sexual activity. It is not enough for the celibate person to say, that's the marker of my sanctification. So, like the married person says, it is enough that I'm not sleeping with someone else other than my spouse. It is not right for the sanctified or for the celibate person to say, it is enough that I'm not sleeping with anyone. There is so much more to celibacy, and there's so much more to sanctification than a simple status of not engaging in sexual activity with someone who is not your spouse. In marriage, I could perceive that there's a richness that grows from experiencing life together. And perhaps that richness can manifest itself in the simple kiss on the mouth. That after 30 years of marriage, a kiss on the mouth, there's more richness to that experience with your spouse than after you're first married. Now, it might be the case that everything is lost, but that might not be like that certain richness that you experience after 30 years is there's no excitement, there's no fulfillment, there's nothing there. But I think that would be a grave loss. Now, I'm not married. If you're married and you think otherwise, let me know. But that's just a guess. And I'm taking that from the Song of Solomon, where it says, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. It opens that way. For your love is stronger than wine. And I think there's something to kisses on the mouth that is a strong symbol in marriage. So likewise, I think the single life, the celibate life, grows. And it grows in richness. And it doesn't mean that that richness is should deter someone away from making the switch and embracing the married life. In fact, I would hope that that experience of richness would transfer over to the married life in an ever enriching way, meaning that the richness experience in sanctification, in the single life, in the celibate life, would increase that richness once you are married. But you can see for the celibate person that it is not enough that you just don't sleep around, because, you could be engaging in pornography. I mean, that's the big word. That's the big word these days. It's like, oh, so you're single. Oh, so you're celibate. Well, do you have a problem with pornography? That's the thing that's hanging over people's head. So I might just speak a little personally here. One thing that God has gifted me since being converted 25 years ago at the age of 15 is that pornography has never grabbed a hold on me. And this is just a gracious gift of God. If you've struggled with pornography, I fully sympathize with that. There are many things that people struggle with. There's many things I've struggled with. For whatever reason, God has gifted me that whenever I've encountered something pornographic, since becoming a Christian, that there was no rabbit trail. There was nothing that I would get myself into that I had trouble getting out of. And it's like when things would accidentally pop up on the screen, I'd just be angry, and I would not, seek it again. Not that I was seeking it in the first place. I've never, I'd say I've hardly ever sought pornography, especially on the internet. And, that is just what God has gifted, and He gives gifts in different ways. And I fully sympathize with that person who has struggled more deeply in pornography. Now, that being said, no matter what, I strongly advocate for a person to be free. A person to be free from pornographic pursuits. But it is also not enough. I do recognize it's also not enough that you're not like typing in your search engine or however you pursue pornography and say on the internet. It is not enough that you are free from actually viewing pornographic pictures, say on your computer. People have imaginations. Men have imaginations. Women have imaginations. Your imaginations can be pornographic. And it could even be maybe a look. You look at someone in public, and they might be dressed quite scantily, or you might mentally undress that person. And that is the habit of pornography. So you're free from viewing pornography on the screen. But are you really free from pornography? No. So there is another layer of sanctification that you want to attain. You want to be free from pornographic imaginations. Now, another thing about whether you're engaging in pornography, literally with your eyes or in your imagination, another character of pornography is that you want to control what you see. You want to look again. You want to study it. You want to study it and take control, literally grasping at it, grabbing at it. And I'm literally talking about masturbation. And so I also advocate that the celibate person is to be free from masturbation. Whether they are masturbating to something that is on the screen or simply in the mind. So there's another layer, a level of sanctification to be had here. And you might say, okay, well, biologically, men are always producing seeds, producing sperm, producing semen. But God has designed the man to be able to have that taken care of, and to have that taken care of in their sleep. And then so I think, in my experience, there's a richness to being completely reliant on that process, as it is God's design for those who are celibate. And God knows that for any man, there might be a period of time where he has to be celibate. And he's designed our bodies to be able to take care of it. Now, I think the general principle of sanctification for those who are single, for those who are celibate, is that there's always a higher level to achieve. And no matter what, we have to work with God. We have to trust in His forgiveness. We have to say that God's design for marriage is good, God's design for singleness is good, and that both are for our sanctification and for His glory. And we, just like the married person prays in their marriage, the single person prays in their singleness, that they might achieve a higher purity. That is all for today, and I hope that the Lord bless you and keep you and make His face to shine upon you.